Previously on
Finding that perfect maid.
As I finished my tea, I handed the cup and saucer to Caroline. As she turned, however, a small napkin flew off of the serving tray she was holding and landed behind her on the floor.
Oh, I'll get...
Oi! Oi!
Ow!
Girl, look at that eyes! Damn! I mean, I should look at your booty, but damn! Still, I love your eyes! Yeah! I guess I'm weird. Yeah. I watched as the maid, named after the color of her dress, charged at Caroline with another knife. I gripped to the railing, wondering what the hell was happening. Seriously, what the fuck? Before I could shout in protest, though, Caroline quickly slid to the side, grabbing the railing of the stairs opposite of the one I was on. I was one? Sure, I was one and flipping over it. What? I stared wide-eyed as Caroline gained a look of pure determination as she glared at Red. Damn, you're kind of see-through. Caroline, it's kind of scary. Yeah.
Putting your training to use. At least this will be fun.
Wait, Red then ran up and grabbed this railing, vaulting over and thrusting her knife at Caroline, who swiftly twirled down the stairs and watched the knife empty itself to the weight.
Stand still!
Red pulled it out with almost monster strength and charged against at Caroline, who quickly ran backwards to keep distance.
What is going on?
Exactly! The woman who watched the fight looked up at me, taking the side of my body before smirking.
So you must be the new noble. Interesting. I never thought a middle-class rat would make their way into our society.
The fuck did you just call me, bitch? I glared. What the hell was her deal?
My name is Angela Worthing, the current top-ranking noble in the area. However, don't bother trying to remember that. You won't be a noble long enough for my name to be of any use.
Angela Worthings? Sounds more like Angela Worth Nothing! Angela smirked at my confusion.
I hope you enjoyed the little time you had here. Too bad I'll be taking your noble title away.
Bitch, please! Damn! Your eyes! That eye is straight up yandere eye! Damn! Huh. What did she mean? I wasn't going to be a noble for long? I just got here. Why were the maids fighting? Why was she so fucking cocky?
What are you talking about?
Yeah! Angela looked to the maids as if she was going to ignore me, but she spoke to me with her focus on the fight.
Do you know why you were brought here? I'll give you a friendly hint. It's not just because you won some little lottery.
I looked to the fight between the maids, then back at the woman. This made no fucking sense, so I didn't answer. Angela took my silence as my reply and continued.
I'm sure the man that brought you here spouted out about this being a financial experiment for us. While that is true, it's an investment experiment for the maids.
Uh-huh. This was about the maids. That made no fucking sense! Yet at the same time something was clicking in my head. The woman turned to me at last, making me look back to her.
We are part of a government experiment to develop a new method of discreet military weaponry.
Uh-huh, what?
These maids are not just maids, but they're soldiers.
Okay,
What? Soldiers?
like... secret op type? What? Angela smirked at the surprise on my face. Caroline was a soldier? She was a cute maid! That didn't make any damn sense!
They are trained just like military soldiers and are tested to rise above their ranks within a set amount of time. Should they succeed, they are offered to become part of the experiment. Many try, few succeed, and even fewer accept the deal.
Okay.
But this is ridiculous. Why would anyone accept this kind of deal?
Toriko, you can't accept it, yeah.
Because some would rather help and serve their country in the long run than die on the battlefield.
Oh, you were talking about the maid. Never mind. For some reason, that made sense. If you died in a battle, you died. No shit, girl! However, if this was a military experiment, then this would help the future? The question was, how the fuck? As if the noble woman near me read my mind, she turned back to the maids.
Red, attack the master.
What? What? I shot my head to the maid in question as she looked to me with a large grin. She jumped away from Karolyn and hopped up onto the railing on the opposite stairs. Like a ninja, she ran up the railing and crossed the top rails before sliding down the stairs. I was one, raising her knife to slice my head off.
No!
Oi! 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 You alright, girl? Damn! That's like really close to your neck. Holy shit! Damn! Anyway, out of nowhere, Karolyn jumped over the railing in front of me and grabbed at Red's arm, protecting me from Red's knife.
How sweet! Protecting your master unarmed. You must be stupider than I thought.
Fuck you!
I'll protect my master with my life. That's the life we live.
Yeah!
This isn't some cheesy romance game, oh pathetic one. Don't be so dramatic.
You're the one who's being dramatic, damn! Karolyn glared at Red pressed against her hands, trying to now slash at Karolyn's throat.
I'm curious though. How fast did you open your legs for your master? I bet you suck in bed as much as you do at being a maid.
Whoa! Whoa! What the fuck you, Red? Damn!
I don't need to open my legs to be the best maid I can be. I didn't have to sleep my way to the top, unlike you.
Oh, bird!
I'll kill you, bitch!
I could only step back in fear as Karolyn pushed Red off the railing and vaulted over it after her. Karolyn's expression contorted to become full of pure rage as she began to fight offensively, using a convenient nearby broom like a long-handled hammer against Red and her knife.
Red, beside me.
Instantly, Red stopped defending and quickly jumped to her master's side, glaring at Karolyn. However, I could tell that Red was twitching and itching to keep fighting. Karolyn stopped as well and glared at Red with silent contempt. I felt both protected and proud to see her defend me like she did. At the same time, I was dumbstruck at how skilled she was at fighting.
These women are trained to do one thing: serve. They are dedicated to serving their masters and not only care for their home, but protect them with their life.
Uh-huh.
The government wants to essentially create a small private force of fighters to protect and assassinate important leaders. That way, we can secretly have the upper hand against anyone who tries to overthrow us from the inside out. Think of it like the Secret Service, only 10 times better, without the hassle of having moronic hirelings as the agents.
We're essentially the next best thing to come out of military funding. Add the fact that we have boobs, and you will never suspect a thing.
I don't think so, girl. Yeah.
The reason these girls are maids is to train them to blend into their surroundings perfectly. It's one thing to see a man in a suit with an earpiece and assume they're guardians. It's another to suspect a servant who is cleaning a vase or sweeping the floor.
Yeah, but there's a lot of tropes and genres and cliche stuff about, badass maids, if you know what I'm saying? Like, anime. I looked to Red instinctively, watching her smirk widely as she lifted her skirt a bit and revealed a line of knives sheathed in a ring around her petticoat. What are you, Sakuya from Toho? Damn! I could feel the blood in my head drain into my chest tube, the sight striking fear into my care. I looked to Karolyn and she still had a hard glare on her face, staring into Red's eyes. Did she have any secret weapon on her? I now didn't know who I was looking at when I looked at the maid beside me. Both a soldier and a maid. She was a scary force to be reckoned with.
Red, continue the fight.
What the fuck?
Finally! You're mine, bitch!
Whoa! Okay, as if the itch Red held had been completely wiped away and replaced with pleasure. Red charged once again at Caroline with a look of deep excitement on her face. Caroline brought up her broom and stood her ground, returning to the fight with Red on the defense.
What are you doing?
Before I could step in, Angela stepped in front of me to bar me from stepping in. I glared as she crossed her arms.
This is part of the experiment. We have to test the results in the only way we can, by having them fight.
Fight? What had this become? Battle Royale? What the fuck? I opened my mouth, but the noble woman continued.
That's why we're here. We represent our maids and become the controllers for the experiment. If our maids can protect us perfectly, then the experiment is successful.
Uh-huh. Angela turned her body to look over at the fighting maids, causing me to do the same. The maids were clashing weapons with ridiculous precision and force. You could definitely tell that they were trained in combat just from how they threw their hits. You know, I could just literally beat the shit out of you right now while they're fighting. Yeah!
I will tear you to shreds!
Damn!
Red has served me well for almost a full year now. She is devoted to being the best. But she told me about your maid. Apparently she's the best maid fighter from the academy they train at.
I looked to Caroline and mentally agreed just from the sight. Red had a very hard offensive, but Caroline kept up the defense masterfully. They both looked equally matched, to say the least. For some reason, there was a certain grace Caroline had while fighting Red, which made her stand out. Maybe it was because she was my maid, or maybe it was her cute appearance. Yeah, I couldn't tell. I shook my head wildly. Wait a minute. How could I be so accepting of this? This is so strange. Too strange.
I'm actually very unimpressed. She may be the best in the academy, but she has yet to even bring Red down. She must have been overestimated.
Fuck you, bitch. I glared at Angela, suddenly become insulted. Fuck you. Angela laughed before clapping her hands together, making a large noise echo through the lobby.
Red, enough!
Caroline-chan, you okay? Red jumped away from Caroline and panted, still smirking wildly at her with deadly intent. However, she moved the knife in her hand under the skirt and seized it back with her other knives in her petticoat. Angela crossed her arms and looked at Caroline up and down with a raised elbow. Eyebrow, I mean. Damn.
This is a waste of my time. It's obvious that you need to train more, Red, if you hope to properly bring this maid down.
Oh!
I'm sorry, ma'am. I know I can beat her. I was just getting warmed up.
Nevertheless, it looks like this little fight will have to wait. I have an appointment to keep.
Yes, ma'am.
Angela looked to me with a business-like stare, making me tense up slightly.
I'll give you a week to prepare your maid. If your maid can beat Red, which I highly doubt, then I'll leave you alone and you can remain one of us.
Bitch, fuck you!
You're on.
Yeah, but still. Fuck you!
When you lose, though, you'll have to kiss your master goodbye.
What? She'd have to leave? What? That made no sense at all. Angela smirked at my sudden change of emotion as Red laughed.
I'm no longer in training, and I've already proven myself to Miss K and the rest of the Academy heads. I'm not monitored by the Academy anymore, so I can continue to serve my master even if I lose a fight, which has never happened.
Oh, so if you lose a fight... You know what? Girl, let's kill this bitch. Red turned her gaze back to Caroline, smirking, running her tongue over her top row of teeth before continuing her explanation.
You, on the other hand, are fresh out of the Academy. If you fail to prove that you can protect your master before your third check-in, you'll be shipped right back to the school, and we'll have to start at the bottom of the barrel, where you belong.
The look on Caroline's face made it clear that she was telling the truth.
That's not going to happen.
Don't get so confident. Don't forget that you have to do your maid duties as well. If you fail to do your duties and keep the house clean like the good maid you're supposed to be, even if you somehow manage to get stronger than me, you'll still be shipped out.
Fuck. This was beyond insanity. How the heck we were supposed to manage this? How was Karolyn supposed to train and be a maid at the same time? Angela then turned and began to walk towards the front door.
If you lose your maid, you'll lose your noble status. I suggest taking the week to pack your bags, middle-class rat.
Fuck you, bitch! And with that, Red led her master out of the house, closing the door behind them. I could help but buckle down and sit on the staircase, feeling completely overwhelmed. This was the catch? My job was to be a maid's master and make sure she did her job? If she fails, she gets taken away and lose my noble stat or title? This was a mind jumble and I don't like it one bit. My mind felt like cracking, but I had to accept the reality of the situation. I was involved in a mess-up experiment. Yeah. I looked at Karolyn and saw her frown before she turned and bowed to me.
I'm terribly sorry. I didn't expect anyone to come, and I didn't know if you were aware of the situation or not. I wanted to tell you later today, but apparently Miss Worthing and Red had other plans.
Girl, it's fine. It's not your fault. It's the butler's fault, to be honest. Yeah! I shook my head, holding my hands up. It was a waste of time to try and mope about the past. I had to make sure I didn't lose my nobility in the first week of obtaining it. Yep, that would suck. I looked at Karolyn with the serious expression standing up.
We have a week to get ready. What do you need to do?
Well, I need to train hard to get ready for another battle with Red. However, I need to keep the house clean and organized from dust and disorganization.
Uh-huh. Karolyn bit her lips and looked at the ground, trying to figure out what to do. I felt really bad. She almost looked like a sad child. We have to win. No. You can do it. I believe in you, girl. Yeah. No stress. You know? If shit goes bad, then shit goes bad. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah. Just do our best. I believe in you, girl. Yeah. I needed her to know that I supported her. I knew she could beat Red. Karolyn looked up at me, wide-eyed before looking down at her dress and blushing widely. I smiled and gently placed my hand on her shoulder, making her look back up at me. As her eyes met with mine, I closed my eyes and nodded with a reassuring smile. As I opened my eyes, she nodded with a matching smile. I could tell that she would try her best. I rubbed my chin, trying to think, however. Karolyn walked up and looked at me from the bottom step of the stairs.
Master, I'll listen to you and follow all of your orders of when I can train and when I should clean. It's your home, after all.
What?
So you should dictate when I do things, so I don't inconvenience you.
Wait, what? I manage your schedule? What? I stared at her in surprise before thinking about it. She had a good idea. If I scheduled it, she wouldn't overwork herself and we could devote good time to cleaning, training, and resting. We had a week after all. If we divided each day into 2, Karolyn could both clean and train on certain days and times. Then to make sure she doesn't pass out, I could suggest giving her time off once in a while. I was used to work, so it wasn't hard to keep the house clean myself sometimes. Yeah, this was definitely a good idea. Now to follow through with it, it might be a good idea for you, but for me, I suck at managing schedule. I mean, shit. Look at my YouTube, for example. Damn.
All right, let's do our best.
There was no way I was going to let Angela and Red get the best of us. No way. May the Maid's games begin. Day 1, Saturday morning. I don't fucking know. feel like, girl? I think we should clean in the morning. Train at night? Should I do clean, train, clean, train, rest? I don't fucking... You know what? Let's train. Yeah. For now. Just train. Yeah. I decided to have her train first. Karolyn nodded and started to run laps around the lobby using the stairs. Okay. Not wanting to get in the way, I rushed back to my room to eat my breakfast and play some video games. Nice. I could hear Karolyn running up and down the stairs of the lobby and paused to do some push-ups or sit-ups to break the rhythm. Afternoon. As the afternoon started to approach, Karolyn appears at my door with lunch. I ate it happily, of course, but I knew that I had to dedicate what she had to do for the rest of the day. You could clean, girl, I think. Hold on. Yeah, since you've been judged, right? I know there's a reason why you have to clean. So yeah, clean? I guess, yeah. I decided to have her clean first. Karolyn nodded and took up her broom, cleaning the lobby first. I trusted Karolyn to clean everything up to par with how maids were supposed to keep the house. As the day started to end, Karolyn fixed me dinner before excusing herself for the night. I yawned and went to bed myself. Today was just so mind-jarring. It was hard to close my eyes. However, I managed to head to sleep eventually. Day 2, Sunday morning. I woke up the next day and stretched, yawning. I looked at the time, 10:30 a.m. As a knock appeared at my door, I looked to my door and said enter, knowing it was Karolyn with food. Karolyn entered the room with a tray covered in delicious breakfast food, and I, of course, ate every last bite with happiness. However, as I finished, Karolyn bowed to me and asked me to instruct her for the day. Would this happen every day? What should Karolyn do for the first half of the day? Train and clean and train and clean, I guess? Let's train. Yeah. I decided to have her train. Karolyn nodded and excused herself, leaving the room. Out of curiosity, I snuck a glance out of my room, looked out to see Karolyn practicing martial arts in the lobby. She had moved all of the furniture to do the training. It was kind of cool to watch, but I decided to leave her alone. I didn't want to break her concentration if she caught me staring. I looked to the time and decided to wander around the house and explore. I didn't find much except for a couple of bathrooms, a large dining room, an equally large kitchen, a pool room, a sauna, and multiple bedrooms. Yeah, I most likely would never get used to how big this house was. Afternoon, day 2. As the afternoon started to approach, Karolyn reappeared at my door with lunch. It was perfect, of course. What should Karolyn to do for the second half of the day? Clean. Yeah. I decided to have her clean first. Karolyn nodded and took up her broom, cleaning the halls today. I trusted Karolyn to clean everything up to par with how maids were supposed to clean or keep the house. As the day started to end, Karolyn fixed me dinner before excusing herself for the night. I yawned and went to bed myself. Day 2 done! Day 3, Monday morning. Oh, what? The morning started with a surprise visit from the man who drove me here. He apparently was an instructor for the maids, and he came for an evaluation on Karolyn. Shit. He was very impressed on how clean the mansion was. Yes. He almost ran his finger on every wood and marble surface, checked for dust, and found absolutely nothing. Thank God I cleaned. I looked at Karolyn, who smiled at me before nodding and watching the man finish his evaluation. For now, she was passing his flying colors. Apparently, he He also knew about the quarrel between Angela and myself. He wished me luck, but reminded me not to overwork Caroline. I had to remember that. As he left, Caroline looked to me for her day assessment. Let's train rest today. Yeah. Train and rest. Yeah, hopefully I'm doing this right. Yeah, let's train. I decided to have her train first. Caroline nodded and headed to her room to train. Maybe she had some training equipment there. I decided to take a dip and pull myself. I needed to work out too, you know? Yeah. As I passed by the door that led to her room, I could hear Caroline punching at some sort of bag of mattress. Probably slamming punches for strength and endurance. Nice. Monday, day 3, afternoon. As the afternoon started to approach, Caroline reappeared at my door with lunch. I ate it happily, of course, but I knew that I had to dedicate what she had to do for the rest of the day. Girl, take a break. You deserve it. Yeah. I decided to have her rest. Caroline nodded and excused herself to her room. Caroline definitely deserved a break. As the day started to end, Caroline fixed me dinner before excusing herself for tonight. I yawned and went to bed myself, sliding by day 3 into day 4. Holy shit. Tuesday morning. I woke up the next day and stretched, yawning, and looked at the time. 9:30 a.m. Huh? I woke up early. As a knock appeared on my door, I looked at my door and said enter, knowing it was Caroline. Caroline entered the room with a tray covered in delicious breakfast food and, of course, ate every last bite with happiness. However, as I finished, Caroline looked at me and surprised me. Wait.
Master, may I ask you something?
What's up, girl?
Huh? Sure. What's up?
Do you like me serving you?
Girl, please! Of course! Huh? What kind of question was that? Of course I love her serving me. Not that she was like a servant or whatever, but she kept the house clean and was fighting to stay with me, and she became important to me, you know? Wait, you serving me is great, but why would you serve me and fight to be here? That's a good question. Of course, I like you serving me. Or, why would you serve me and fight to be here? Of course I like you serving me. Yeah, but you know what? Let's ask the question, I guess. Yeah. Caroline looked at me before blushing wildly. What? Was the reason bad? She shook her head, looked up at me nervously.
Well, you see, I guess you interested me, Master.
Oh, Caroline!
I interested you.
Yeah, and I kind of think you're cute.
Uh-huh.
I, hope you don't mind.
Oh, I don't mind, girl. Girl. Oh, I think you're cute too. Kinda do, sorry. Who the fuck says this? Anyway, I think you're cute too. Her face turned red again as she fiddled with the hem of her dress. She looked even cuter than before. I almost wanted to pull her over and hug her. Why not? However, my mind ran back to the fight between Red and Caroline. That's right. She had to focus on winning the fight. Now was not the time for flirting and calling each other cute names. Or just cute, yeah. Caroline bowed to me and asked me to instruct her for the day. What should Caroline do for the first half of the day? You know what, girl, let's train. Yeah, train. I decided to have her train. Caroline nodded and excused herself, leaving the room. Out of curiosity, I decided to find Caroline and watch a bit on how she trained. She had been training hard and I was curious. She was a soldier after all. Would she be doing laps? Would she be hitting a punching bag? Oi! She wasn't far. She was in the middle of the lobby doing complete sit-ups on the floor. I could only stare as she continued to pull her upper body off of the ground and up before letting it go back down. Girl, look at that thick ass sweat. Seriously, that sweat looks really thick, girl. Damn! And I love your eyes. Yeah. Alright. She was doing this in a tight-fitting corset dress, how? Exactly! Then I remembered that she was a trained soldier. This was probably in her training. I watched as she did 10, 20, 30. By 40 she was getting a staggered breath. 50 brought soft sweat. I had to admire her dedication. She looked so determined. To get stronger and better, I felt kind of flattered in a strange way. I decided to leave her alone. I didn't want to break her concentration. Day 4, Tuesday afternoon. As the afternoon started to approach, Karolyn reappeared at my door with lunch. How she managed to balance everything was a little fuzzy, but I trusted her to do her best. What should Karolyn do for the second half of the day, girl? You can clean. Yeah. I decided to have her clean first. Karolyn nodded and took up a bucket of cleaning supplies. Clean the bathrooms today. Excuse me. I trusted Karolyn to clean everything up to par with how maids were supposed to keep the house. As the day started to end, Karolyn fixed me dinner before excusing herself for tonight. I yawned and went to bed myself. Let's go, day 5. Day 5, Wednesday morning. I woke up to hear Karolyn knocking on my door. Despite me not doing anything while I lived here other than play video games, I got to sleep a lot. Karolyn brought in my breakfast and awaited my instructions. I wonder when would that dude come? Probably on day 5? Yeah, I have a feeling the guy went easy on us the first day. So I think I should do cleaning the whole day. Yeah, I think that's what I should do. So yeah, let's clean. I decided to have her clean first. Karolyn nodded and took up her broom, cleaning the bedroom we were in. I played video games on my bed while she vacuumed and dusted, and I switched to the floor when she needed to change my sheets. I trusted Karolyn to clean everything up to par with how maids were supposed to keep the house. Day 5, Wednesday afternoon. As the afternoon started to approach, Karolyn reappeared at my door with lunch. I ate it happily, of course, but I knew that I had to dedicate what she had to do for the rest of the day. Girl, clean. Wait, I rested on day 3, right? Yeah, so tomorrow, for sure, I'll rest. Yeah, clean. I decided to have her clean first. Karolyn nodded and took up her broom, cleaning the bedroom we were in. I played video games on my bed while she vacuumed and dusted, and I switched to the floor when she needed to change my sheets. I trusted Karolyn to clean everything up to par with it's the same thing. As the day started to end, Karolyn fixed me dinner before excusing herself for the night. I yawned and went to bed myself. 2 more days. Day 6, Thursday morning. I woke up the next day and stretched. Yawning, I looked at the time, 10:25 a.m. As a knock appeared at my door, I looked to my door and said enter, knowing it was Karolyn with food. Karolyn entered the room with a tray covered in delicious breakfast food, and I, of course, ate every last bite with happiness. However, as I finished, Karolyn bowed to me and asked me for instruction for the day. What should Karolyn do? Shit. I think tomorrow I should rest. Yeah, today I'll train, clean, rest. Or should I rest now? Shit. Let's train and clean. Yeah, that might be good. And then tomorrow, rest. Train and rest, I guess. Shit, I don't know. I hope I'm doing this right. Let's train. Yeah. I decided to have her train. Karolyn nodded and excused herself, leaving the room. Out of curiosity, I snuck a glance out of my room and looked out to see Karolyn practicing martial arts in the lobby. She had moved all of the furniture to do the training. Day 6, Thursday afternoon. After afternoon started to approach, Karolyn reappeared at my door with lunch. What should Caroline to do for the second half of the day? Probably clean. Yeah. I decided to have her clean first. Caroline nodded and took up her broom, cleaning the halls today. I trusted Caroline to clean everything up to par with how maids were supposed to keep the house. As the day started to end, Caroline fixed me dinner before excusing herself for the night. I yawned and went to bed myself. Tomorrow was the last day for her before the fight. Day 7, Friday morning. Okay, the morning started with a vital surprise visit from the man who drove me here. Inspection time. He was very impressed on how clean the mansion was. He almost ran his finger on every wood and marble surface, checking for dust, and found absolutely nothing. I looked at Caroline, who smiled at me before nodding, and watched the man finish his evaluation. As she finished, he gave Caroline a thumbs up. Did she do her part well enough to pass? Caroline started jumping happily. I assumed that she did her job right and almost started bouncing with her. She wouldn't get taken away from skipping duties. After his inspection, he stopped to look at Caroline. I watched as he circled her, and she stood at attention like a soldier to her sergeant. He smiled and nodded, placing a hand on her shoulder. Caroline, however, let out a tired sigh. For some reason, she looked more wiped out than usual. Shit! I looked to Caroline, noticing the dark circle. Oh shit! Did the jump she did exhausted? Fuck no! The guy looked at me with concern, and I looked back at him with a gulp. Maybe I should have let her rest more between training and cleaning. As she left, Caroline looked to me for her day assessment. Sheesh, even on her final day, she was determined to win against Red. Girl, fucking rest. I decided to have her rest. She needed to relax before the fight. Caroline nodded and excused herself to her room. Now that I was alone, I walked back to my room to eat my breakfast and play some video games. Alright then, Caroline definitely deserved a break. Day 7, Friday afternoon. As the afternoon started to approach, Caroline reappeared at my door with lunch. I ate it happily, of course, but I knew that I had to dedicate what she had to do for the rest of the day. Either train or rest. Train? Just in case. I decided to have her train first. Caroline nodded and left my room. After a while, I could hear Caroline running up and down the stairs of the lobby and paused to do some push-ups and sit-ups to break the rhythm. As the day started to end, Caroline fixed me dinner before excusing herself for the night. I yawned and went to bed myself. Alright, tomorrow was the moment of the truth! The next morning was full of silence that sent chills down my spine. Today was the day. Red and Caroline would fight to see who was the better maid. I was confident in Caroline. She had to win. She was so determined to win already. There was no way Red could match her. You're rested, right, Caroline? I feel like I fucked up the last choice. Anyway, as Caroline entered my room with breakfast, she presented me with a letter with a red wax seal. I opened it and read out loud the content of the letter.
Today's battle will take place in the designated area determined by the Code of Maids. Please arrive promptly by noon, or face losing your maid and title as per your disqualification.
What? Designated area? There was a designated area? I looked at Caroline, who closed her eyes and took a breath. I had to assume she knew there or where this place was, so I didn't ask. I dressed and ate quickly, not wanting to make us late, and off we went. The guy who had brought me here drove us towards our destination that I didn't know of. I sat beside Caroline as she stared ahead at the partition. I looked to her and wanted to speak, but I could tell that she was focused on thinking about the match. She must have been nervous, as her hands gripped the hem of her dress like vice. Place your hand over one of hers. You got this, girl. I didn't want to break her thoughts, but I gently placed my hand over her and gave it a small squeeze. She didn't break her gaze from the partition, but she releases her dress and gently held my hand and squeezed back. I smiled. She knew that I believed in her, and my hand squeeze was my silent root. Or what? Yeah, my silent root for her. I took her silent reply as acknowledgement of such. We drove for a good half an hour before reaching a building that looked like a small arena.
What the? An arena?
Oi! It looks like you're on a plate? A dish or something? Alright, arena it is! As we stepped inside, we were greeted by a perfect circle of people and maids either cheering or booing at our arrival. I looked around and noted at least 30 nobles, with each having one or even two maids apiece. Damn! I suddenly felt incredibly small. I turned my gaze across the small arena, seeing Angela stare at me from an elegant chair with Red beside her with her usual evil smirk. I glared at Karolyn, and I walked forward towards the ring designating the fighting area. Did I say glare too? I mean glared as Karolyn. Yeah, anyway, Angela stood and followed Red a step behind her. When we reached the ring, Red and Karolyn continued forward into the fighting area, goddamn, as Angela and I stopped.
Well, middle-class rat, I didn't expect you to show up on time.
Fuck you.
Usually, vermin scurry around and forget about important things like this.
Bitch. Fuck you.
Not on your life. I may be from a working class, but I at least worked hard at what I did.
Red, make this quick. This fight will be finished within a minute. Do you understand?
Absolutely, ma'am.
Red cracked her neck and grinned evilly at Karolyn.
So I finally get to show you who the real best maid is. I've been so impatient. I almost snuck out of my master's home to fight you out of pure anxiousness.
Whatever scare tactic you're using won't work, Red. I'm not afraid of you.
Oh, you should be. You really should be. After all, I don't intend to let you win. Your ass is mine.
Come and try to get it.
Oh! Angela stepped back and crossed her arms, and I stepped away from the ring, focusing on Karolyn's back. She had to win. She had to win! The speakers surrounding the arena awoke with the sound of blips clicking through the air. One blip. Two blip. Oi! At the third, Karolyn and Red charged at each other. Red unsheathed a knife, and Karolyn ran at her unarmed. Damn! With the swipe, Red tried to slash at Karolyn, but her dagger didn't make it. Her dagger didn't make its dodging target as Karolyn stepped back and started to move defensively. Karolyn kept circling and stepping away from Red, trying to maintain distance from the blade that could end her career and her life. I stared at, leaned in with anticipation. Karolyn had trained really hard for this. She had to beat Red somehow. As Karolyn began to come close to the arena ring line, she tried to twirl around Red, but she was blocked and dodged on incoming thrust of Red's knife.
Hold still!
As Karolyn turned towards my direction, I could see the tiredness in her eyes. Shit! Her eyes were almost glazed over as she dodged and ducked from each knife swipe and thrust. Oh fuck! As Karolyn stepped away from Red, her body curled around a large punch from Red's free hand, sending her flying back and onto the ground. Karolyn rolled and landed right on the ring line. She, however, barely could get up before Red grabbed her head and slammed her body back down.
Gotcha!
Shit! Red straddled Karolyn and raised her knife above her head, using her free hand to grip Karolyn's neck and pin her down. Karolyn shot her hands up, using both to hold back the knife that was trying to slam down in between her eyes. The two maids growled, fighting each other's strength as Karolyn tried to maintain consciousness. I wanted to step in, but Angela stopped me.
Red, just throw her out of the ring. No need for killing her.
No!
Yes, ma'am.
Begrudgingly, Red pulled her knife out of Karolyn's clutches and tossed it before jumping up and kicking Karolyn out of the fuck! The speaker began to blare out loud blip and most of the crowd began to cheer wildly while the rest grumbled in defeat for being against Red. The speaker sounded, declaring Red the winner in a robotic tone. Fuck! I, however, began to run towards Karolyn's falling body. I had to make sure she was okay. I was stopped by the driver, who stepped in front of me with a stoic gaze.
I must apologize. I'm afraid that your maid has lost and will be brought back to the academy.
What? What?
But wait! No! She can't!
Before I could even blink, I felt something sharp pierce my neck, like a mosquito with a giant sucker. I stared up at the guy as he held something against my neck, trying to make out words he said as my head began to spin.
I guess the middle class cannot participate in this experiment.
What? The next thing I knew, I fucking blacked out. And I woke in my old house, in my bed. I looked around, wondering why I was sleeping and what day it was.
What happened?
I looked at my phone and saw the date. What the fuck? I swore that the time sped forward a week. What happened? I tried to remember what had happened the past week. Not remember ever going to work, but as I tried to dig through my memories, I came up with nothing. It was like there was a void in my brain. A week-long void. What happened? Bad ending. No goodbyes. That happened. Shit. Alright, no. Hell no. 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 I'm gonna do this one more time. Yeah. What the fuck did I do wrong? Okay, at least Shit. More training? Or was it the rest? Shit. I don't fucking know anymore. For sure. I'll come back. I'll come back for you, Red. You're fucking dead. You're fucking dead.